Hello, I'm Joseph Dillard. Welcome to the Integral Deep Listening Video Curricula. From a waking and rational point of view, IDL interviewing appears either absurd, like something out of Alice in Wonderland, or magical, like a hippogriff out of Harry Potter, or ridiculous, like unicorns farting rainbows. Why should interviewing a dream boulder or trombone be anything other than a waste of time? And certainly, if there is any meaning at all to be derived from pointless, inane, or absurd mental images or dream elements, it is easy and natural to assume those meanings are merely our projections onto them, generating a self-fulfilling prophecy of hope, fear, drama, or confusion. These are not only relevant criticisms and doubts, but reasonable and realistic ones. They are perfectly sensible from the perspective of your waking awareness right now. The problem is that your waking perspective at this moment is a subset of contexts that transcend not only who you think you are, but any sense of self whatsoever. Not only that, while dreaming and deeply asleep, your waking perspective is embedded in contexts that transcend and include who you are as well, regardless of how primitive, pre-rational, subjective, and unaware your dreams may appear to you to be, both while you are dreaming them and later, after awakening. We don't like to think this way, mostly because we are innately, psychologically geocentric, meaning the world revolves around us. Still, it is high time we, humans, grew up and learned how to do so. We do not, largely because we are control freaks. The idea that our self is a convenient, self-created narrative and adaptive delusion is a threatening concept that immediately kicks up cognitive dissonance and all sorts of thoughts designed to justify who we are and protect our identity. IDL interviewing works because when we drop our own identity and worldview and allow ourselves to answer questions from the perspective, point of view, or worldview of this or that image, we create openings for life to reconfigure itself in ways that increase integration. But why would life do that, instead of doing what psychology teaches will happen if we give up control? Decompensation, discontrol, personality breakdown, going crazy, and basically deconstruction into a burbling mass of protoplasm. I don't think there is anything magical, mystical, or metaphysical about the process of IDL. Although from our waking perspective, it can easily seem that way. If we look at evolution and the adaptive, developmental, and healing processes of organisms, what we find consistently is a selection for higher orders of integration. Even on a purely material level, for instance, in the movement of wind currents into tornadoes and hurricanes, water currents into whirlpools, or inorganic matter acquiring structures and processes that are foundational to the emergence of life, we see this process, called autopoiesis within individuals, and negentropy within systems. IDL merely mimics this entirely naturalistic process. Is it therefore surprising that it yields similar results? Higher orders of integration and the reframing of life issues, as well as our understanding of our dreams and mystical experiences in ways that support healing, balancing, and transformation. To stay alive, to develop, our nature is reflexively focused on adaptation and control. Why do something that is not adaptive? like taking the perspective of a blender. Why do something that surrenders control when there is no clear value in doing so? Therefore, there is understandable emotional and cognitive resistance to identifying with dream characters and personifications of life issues. However, if we do, amazing, unexpected things can begin to happen. Our sense of self is overwhelmingly a reflection of our need to stay in control and to associate all experience, dream and otherwise, to our needs and assumptions, because we assume we are the meaning maker of our life experience. It is not that we are not, but rather that belief and practice will only take us so far. To find that this is not always the case, particularly in our dreams, can come as a rude, unwelcome shock. The assumptions we make, both in and mostly out of our awareness, are designed to maintain this highly adaptive but limited assumption that we are in control in order to keep us centered in our current waking identity. Whether doing so is highly useful or tragically dysfunctional depends on our stage of development and the challenges we face in our lives. Your waking identity can be your messiah or the warden of your prison cell. In fact, it's both, and everything in between. You can see the entire IDL Video Curricula at integraldeeplistening.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.